big decisions, major decisions. Cannot get around this because we are going through more and more transition. It's accelerating. What does that mean? The more people that go into a positive frequency, and this is real stuff, this is science, we change the entire planet. We are one mind. We are one energy field. We affect one another. You know, we call it the collective. And so therefore, we're all affected by higher, better choices. Better, well, you know, relatively speaking, higher choices. But there's a big decision you have to make, and I'm going to pose some questions for you. They may make you feel very uncomfortable. We have to make these decisions because we're going. You either go with it or you don't, and these decisions will determine that. What's it? A new way of living, a new reality. They call it the new earth, but it's been transitioning into that for quite some time. We're creating it as we go. The matrix changes. But is it changing for you? In which way? It is an individual choice. You ready to make the big decision? Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. My book! Did you get my book? Breakthrough Fear? It may blow your mind because I go into it, and by the time you get done, you're going to say, everything's illusion. I'm creating everything at every moment. Boy, I've got some great videos coming up about that. I'm going to show you how to do it, but what's the big decision? Well, I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're going to have to be really honest because when we take full responsibility, this is part of Breakthrough Fear's training. When we take full responsibility because we are all equal creators, that means we can't push anything off to anybody. We can't blame. We have to stop judging because that means somebody's wrong and that, you know, everything I do is right. That's not equality, and that's separation. We also have to go into the physical world that we're chose to live in, that we're living in, and operate completely different. Because if we don't, the world we created that's we're destroying, will not change. This shift I talk about that's accelerating, it's real, but you could accelerate in another direction if you chose it, and you won't know the difference. You'll see the world getting worse. And if you're seeing that now, if you're experiencing that now, it is choice, 100%. Everything's choice. So when you go to higher frequency, you're a creator of something different, but it has to take action in the material world. I'm going to ask you some questions. You ready for this? If you could not pass off your garbage to some truck that takes it away to the ocean, rivers, all the places that it goes and kills beautiful animals, if you couldn't do that and you had to keep all of your own garbage and you weren't allowed to put it on somebody else's property, you have to personally dispose of it, would you use the same things you're using now? Of course not. Why are you using those things anyways? Because the ugly truth is, and this is a truth, that you can hand it off and not have to know what it's really doing. And somebody else gets paid to do low frequency, to execute low frequency actions. And they're okay with that. They don't care what they do to the planet. They make money off of it. So we are actually fueling the low frequency decisions and sticking our head in the sand. People talk about sticking your head in the sand because we don't have to see that. Well, we're seeing it in pictures and whatever from our nice little living rooms. Second question, if you had to witness how everything you ate was killed or processed, would you eat the same things? Which means you have to educate yourself. If you're a meat eater, by the way, I have no problem with meat eaters. Everything's a choice, not to be judged by me, that's for sure. But if you had to go watch how that animal was killed, would you eat the same things? Would you eat eggs that were processed from a chicken that was not treated well? Or would you spend a little more money to buy the eggs from happy chickens running around barnyards? But you want to save $1 or $2? Would you make a different decision? Probably. You're on my channel, so I know you care. I know you're a loving, caring person. I know that you want to make higher decisions, and sometimes we can't get past our own ego of what's right and wrong. But I'm here to ask you questions so you can make different decisions that are good for you. If you truly knew that the institutions that are sharing information with us, and especially about what we should do about our bodies and how we should handle our own illnesses, if you truly knew, sat in on one of those meetings and saw that everything revolved around making money and it didn't matter what it took to do that, would you maybe make some different decisions? Would you maybe look to alternative ways to heal yourself? Because you realized most of those, and by the way, I'm not against medicine, it's amazing. It's a gift. But let's talk about what's being done out there in different ways that abuses that industry. Even doctors can't talk about it because it's all motivated by money first. Perhaps you would make different decisions about your body, about what you eat, everything. Are you ready to make those decisions? Because the new earth requires it. And so if you aren't willing to look at the source or the repercussions of every one of your decisions, then you are not wanting to face what's really going on out there. You guys talk about truth. Truth is whatever you believe it is. But are you getting all the facts? We are responsible as a community. And so I can't hand my problems off anymore. And you're not going to be perfect all the time. Sometimes things just come in plastic. You have to make as many higher decisions as possible. Last month here in the US, it was Zero Plastic Month. And people were monitoring how many times they actually had used plastic and realized there weren't other choices or that they had to find other choices. Bread, right? Is there a local baker you can go and put it in paper? I have my own bags, netting bags that I use that I put fruit in, so I don't use the plastic bags. Do I use plastic bags sometimes? Yes. Am I avoiding it? Yes. Am I backing off on it? Yes. When I can make every possible decision that is higher, I do it. It's not perfect, but we're getting there because the less that you use, and I talked about this, the less times that you click on a conspiracy or negative or fearful channel, the fewer times, and the more you click on channels like mine and others who are helping you to go into this higher space, making your own decisions, not telling you what to do, the more you tell YouTube that you want this. You click on that, you're saying, I want this, I want this, I want this. And so they fuel and they give us what we're asking for. You keep taking drugs, you're going to get more. All right? You keep eating stuff that's bad for you, they'll keep selling fast food and stuff. We have to say no. I know it's tough, it's inconvenient, but you're eternal. And what happens after here? Every single thing you do that harms the planet, an animal, it all, you're going to feel it. You're going to have to experience the effects of all the decisions you've made. Am I trying to scare you? No. I want to educate you because everything's connected, and that's just how it is. It's not judged, but you won't progress to that higher frequency. Now, here's what I share about the higher frequency. I'm going to do a whole video on this. I shared in the last video, think of us as a pyramid and that this is singularity. Of course, it's never ending, but let's say it's singularity. The higher frequency you go, the fewer illusions there are. So what are guardian angels? They're in higher frequencies. They don't have illusions anymore, their own. We are part of their illusion, so they don't have to learn or go through the stuff that we do. They're at a higher level, so their illusion, their assignment that they experience is to help us in our illusion. So that's why they're higher. The higher you, then you go higher and you're not even a guardian anymore. You're up in a higher realm until finally you're in just total oneness and bliss, and there's nothing else, just beyond what we can comprehend. And then there's expansion and expansion and experiences and adventures. So we want to go higher up in here because the illusions will fall off. The illusions and the teachings, that the challenges you're going through, they dissipate because you've mastered them. And so you'll experience some challenges because you want to do that while you're here, because that allows you to keep raising your frequency and make better and better choices and to affect others. So what's happening, when I say better, I just, higher choices, I should say. Because a lower choice might be better for you. Maybe you learn through that. But when somebody else makes a choice and you are there, when you're on a higher frequency and you're there to offer guidance or options for them, not to infiltrate or, tell them they're wrong or, tell them that they need to be enlightened and here's what they need to do, infringe on their free will. But you're there to guide them. And when they place their hand out, you're there, you can pull them up. But you cannot help people if you don't have that mask on your face when the plane's going down and you pass out. And I see a lot of healers out there. I see a lot of spiritual people. I want to help others. I said, let's work on this first. If you're not dealing with your own stuff, how do you expect to guide others and show them how? And that's an energy field too. So you have that energy field in here. So if somebody comes in the room and you're in distress or anxiety, all these other things going on, you haven't forgiven others, which I talk about forgiveness not even necessary because everybody's doing their job. They're your greatest teachers. It's up to you how you respond to all of that. And if you're not in that space, and you think you can heal others, that most of the time, that's ego. No, I'm trying to help others. No, you do, and you have a kind heart. But the ego thinks that it's going to help others, and it's not dealing with its own issues. So it's wanting to change everything out here. So I know you guys, some of you will say, that's not true, I want to help others. That's fine. If you are in a higher frequency, and you're not dealing with your own, challenges, then you can do that with a clear energy field. So it's not that this is wrong or wrong to want to help other people, but if you're not in that clear energy field, you're bringing that negativity actually into theirs, right? You don't want to do that. We got to get this right first. One frequency at a time, raising the frequency of the planet, one light being at a time. That's all you have to do, because once you do that, you affect everybody else. But we think of ourselves as individual. I want to cure them. I want this. They shouldn't be sick. I'm like, what? Who says? You? They chose it, or they created it, which is they chose it. And without the illness, they don't know that their choices have been destructive or self-serving or, in ignorance. Density. They don't know that. So the repercussions are, the messages, something's not working in harmony here. And so then that's when you start to look at yourself and make the changes. And it's all but very positive, very good, right? Good. Good, bad. But that illness could have been good. So we shouldn't judge that because it's all part of a pathway you cannot comprehend. Let it go. No labels, no judgment. Let it go. Observe and love. Send compassion. You see anger? Send compassion to that because that person's in pain. And if you don't want that for them, send them love, not criticism, or tell them what they should do to change it. If they want to change it, they'll come to you and ask. But if you're giving advice from this lower frequency and you're making really low-level decisions in your life, everything you put on your skin goes into your kidneys, your livers. Listen, by the way, the United States is the most toxic place on the planet. We're allowed to put chemicals on our food, in our soil, everything. And we live like this and we think that this is okay, and it's not. And you have to make the decision to say no for you. And you have to look at how everything's being handled and treated. We cannot step back and protect ourselves with the ego and say it's okay because my world's okay. Community. Community means everything. Everything. The air we breathe, the soil, the animals, the plants. How are they being treated? If you're allowing chemicals in your soil, you are a serious detriment to the health of the planet. And Mother Nature, Mother Earth, she's feeling that pain. And you're inflicting it. Is that where you want to be? And why? Go friggin' pull them out of the ground. You know, put something else in there. Or let them grow. Would that be so terrible? Take a cockroach out if you can. I do. I don't always do it. Make the highest and best when you can. And don't beat yourself up if you don't. But if you have a decision to make at that moment, what is it? Do I just really want that steak? Do I know where it came from? A farm factory? Do I know the horror that is in that? That's energy that's in that, and you're ingesting it. It's not good. We can do our homework and make sure things are respected. All right? So big decision you have to make, because the world has to operate that way if you want to live in a healthy, clean, happy, giving, compassionate world. You can't be anything less than that. I hope you'll subscribe and share my videos. If you guys want to come over, free stuff. I'm redoing my whole email list. We're going to really dig deep and break through fear, your spiritual butt kick. As of this video may be out. If you're in my list, you'll see it announced. I'll announce it here also. And it'll be in the description if it's out, but it may blow your mind. It may be the last spiritual book you'll ever need to read. And I really mean that. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. You are a perfect light being. Everything else is created by us to explore it, make decisions in every moment on the higher frequency, and you will experience the new earth we speak of. Take care, my friend. I unconditionally love you. Namaste.